Anyway, well, I'm going to tape this down and start painting. Okay, so, oh, okay, Kathleen's got it. Excellent. Okay, good. And Kathleen, you guys can hear me and everything? Excellent. I'm just going to tape down some paper here. Very good. Well, happy Mother's Day, everybody. It has been good. I was just outside getting some sun and painting a little bit, a few of the flowers out there. And let me go back here so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. So Irene, you got all of your supplies, and did you get your metal palette? I have to look in my messages here for you. And I presume that you've set it up. So Irene, with you, the main idea is to put those colors out on your palette the way that I have, from warm to cool. And you want to spritz it a little bit with your spray bottle to get the paint a little bit wet. And the idea is to use the water to move the paint. And so you'll have to be careful picking it up, because I know you're heavy-handed with it. But you really want to watch the amount of paint and the amount of water together that you're using. Especially today, because we're going to be painting flowers, and turn some lights on here. The flowers look way better if they're really kind of wet and light and airy looking. So we're going to start with this delphinium, because I had a lot of fun painting that this week. So let's go ahead and get started. And this works best on pretty good watercolor paper. The cheaper the paper you use on this, the worse it's going to look, because it tends to get kind of muddy. So we're going for kind of an airy look like this. And so you want the background to be kind of loose and juicy, and then we'll paint on top of it the darker values. So here's my little sample here. So this I had up earlier. This is what I did earlier in the week. And I used a color that you probably don't have, which is it's opera. It's kind of a hot pink. So just use your, your yellow, and you probably have alizarin crimson or a pinky red in your palette. You can use that. You're going to have to use it really sparingly, though, because otherwise it'll just be way too strong, and you want these washes to be nice and transparent. So what I did was I just tried to put down a little bit of, you can even like spritz your page just a little bit to with water, just to kind of get it a little bit loose. And then I just start making these flower shapes, which are, and I'm going to put down a little bit of water first. in the shape of the petal, sort of, that I want to make. Just a little bit of water. And then go into some of our color. Really light. Kathleen, are you painting too with us? And into that you can add just a little bit more. So I'm kind of doing it goes orange to pink to white to yellow. And then up on top, some of the blossoms are just a little pinky up there. Okay. And maybe that'll be one spray there. And I'll do another one that's kind of maybe going more this way. And let me put down a few. Boy, I was trying to find some relaxing piano music, and whatever is on here is really a little bit too, so I better pay attention to what I'm doing. I really just like these shapes and colors. And, you know, with flowers, I'm not trying to get an exact rendition here. And then I'm going to add to that a little bit of this Hansa Yellow Deep, where I feel like that yellow part is kind of peeking through. And it's pretty random, so if you just give an indication of what you're looking at, don't try to make it realistic, which I know is kind of hard, but you just have to go for it. And here and there you can just use a little bit of a damp brush to pull some of the color out, like that. And soften an edge. And I'm gonna just probably let that dry up a little bit and do its thing. I may add a little bit more orange here and there, just to get some of those areas a little bit darker. Every once in a while you can put a little wispy spray kind of going out. I gotta change my music. It's really too sleepy. Maybe this will be a little bit better. Okay. Now, let's see if, let's see in my chat. No, I don't see DJ. I wonder where he is. Okay, so I've got that going. Now I want to get kind of a lemony, greeny yellow going on in this. And I'm using this kind of green gold, but just mix a light yellow lemon, and you can add a tiny bit of cerulean blue to it if you want to make a greeny color. And every once in a while you might want to just indicate a little bud, a green leaf or something along the stem. And of course you do want to get a stem in there, so I'm just scratching the brush across kind of quickly and hard, and you'll get some random marks. Maybe I'll take that one right off the page. And we can build up on some of those greens. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow ochre to the green, just to give it another another color, a little bit different, a little warmer green. There we go. And yellow ochre has a little more body to it, so it's not quite as transparent, so it'll kind of make, well, a yellow ochre-y green. And I'm going to splash some of that on there too while that's going. I'll mix it in with a little green gold or whatever green you have. And I think I'll splatter a little bit around these flowers. And I might try to make one of these stems go up that way. It's weird not seeing the chat. Kathleen, are you painting too? I'm curious to see if you are. Let me go back here. I'm wondering how it's looking so far, Kathleen. Take a picture and let me see how she's doing. And I want to see her setup too, like how she set up her palette and you know, if her brushes arrived and all that. So this is pretty good. I think I would just let this almost dry now. Maybe add a little bit of, I'm going to make up a darker green with, let me clean off this palette a little bit. So you can see what I'm doing. And DJ and Paulina, if you guys are there, I'll keep checking the chat. But I'm using a different system today because I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So if anyone's on Twitch, you can message me there and I should be able to see you. Let's get this back. So let me fix this a little bit. There we go. Still not happy with my music selection here. All right, let's try. Oh, there's a picture. All right, let me see. Ooh, that looks good. Hey, that's a nice looking palette. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah. You got your spray bottle, Irene? And have it going so that the open part is facing you. So, like, you know, so you can just put your brush on here and grab the paint, and then, you know, the rest will drip down into the back area, so you can pick more up if you need to. I'm not sure if that palette is this way or the other way, but it's easier if you have it this way. So it's easier to pick up the paint. Wow, your painting looks good, Irene. And by the way, I did get in the mail your little postcard of your painting from last time. And this is done in acrylic. Very interesting. Yes. You're not afraid of those dark values, I can see. But thanks for sending it. It's really sweet. It's a really sweet one. Okay. I'm going to put it up here by my supplies. All right. So this is what you could do, is dry this off with a hairdryer if you want to, until it's really crisp and dry, and then go back in with some darker values for the stem, and also for these shadowy, darker magenta areas. And let's see. I think I will dry this off for a second with the hairdryer. Maybe Kathleen can run and get the hairdryer for you so that you can get that crisp and dry, and then we can put on the next layer. Let me turn this off. Well, it's not totally dry, but it's dry enough. Let's see. All right. Okay, so Now let's get into some darker darks on here. What am I going to mix up for that? I guess I should stick with the same colors. I'm going to go into this kind of indie blue. If you don't have indie blue, just grab your ultramarine, I guess, and maybe some lemon yellow. Trying to think what, so that's a pretty dark green right there. And then if you want to warm it up a little, you can add some burnt sienna. And you've got a dark brownish green. And I'm just going to put it here and there because I don't, that's a little too dark. Let's get a little more green-ish. Let's put a few little stemmy things on here. They have little, these little leaves that are on the base of the buds, and so that'll kind of give you the idea that it's what it is. And I think that's enough. I don't want to overdo it. And I'm going to splatter a little more green across the bottom. A little bit more there and there. And then I want to get back into I'm just going to put a little bit of water on top of some of these parts where I want to add a little bit more color. So a little bit more of that red, whatever red you're using, to give it a little more pop, a little deeper value. And you can put a little orange in there too if you want. But keep it random and light. Don't try to fill the whole thing in. A little bit more of that cad orangey or Hansa yellow color in there. So Kathleen, what are you guys doing today for Mumsy's Day? I imagine she's probably cooking, or you're cooking, or you're going somewhere maybe. I'm just trying to give a little impression of those things, but still keeping it loose. If it gets too tight looking, lose an edge with some clear water. And you'll have some beautiful looking flowers. In fact, you can drag that around a little. I'm just dipping into my quinacridone rose and my cad yellow. Maybe I'll lose that edge there. Few splatters. I'm just sending a little text to DJ to see if he can send me a confirmation. All right, and I think maybe just a few little light, skinny just to give an idea of some of those leaves maybe here and there. And if you put a brush mark down that you're not happy with, just add a little water to it. You can either sop it up with a tissue or just soften the mark. And you may want to do that anyway, just for the effect. And then add a little more paint and you'll get a nice bleed. It'll bleed a little bit, and I think that looks pretty good. I don't think I'd do too much more to it. Hey DJ, oh there you are, you're in the chat. Oh, you're already watching, okay. Oh, it's so weird. I have to, you know, the other day when I was streaming, the chat came up right away, and today, I don't see the chat in my, I'm not sure why, chat. Let me look. No, well, I have it. It's just on a different screen. So I'm in the Restream Live studio. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I didn't want to go there. Oh, wait a minute. The chat is ready to display messages. Click on a message to show it on the screen. Huh. I gotta look at something. No, that looks okay. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is funny. I'm just not used to this this program. What is this button for? I'm gonna start pushing buttons, so if I lose you, hopefully I won't. Okay, let's go back. Oh, this one maybe. No, no. Share screen, no. Oh yeah, today you can chat. You're in the chat room. All right, good. I just have to. Oh yeah, you are. All right. Wow. Now we're cooking. Okay. So, for some reason, captions set up. I don't think I want to do that. Huh. All right. Well, anyway. I will have to get my chat set up so I can see it better. I had a feeling it was going to be an issue today, but there we go. Try to get the sun off my palette. How are your flowers turning out, Irene? And DJ, are you painting? Okay, I think we still need a little more. I a few more little bits of and maybe a little more of the warm greenish color here and there on these where they meet the stem. Just to add a little more body to this thing. I haven't painted flowers, you know, in a long, long time. So I think that's about enough of that. It's been a while. Every here and there I feel like it needs a little more pop of color. I can add it. Loose is best with flowers, I think. Now I wonder if Kat and Paulina are around. So what do you think? Should I add more? If I wanted to, I could add more background or more sky, you know, put like some blue back there. Light blue, like a cerulean, would go really nicely with the orange. Just not sure if I want to. Maybe just a touch. We'll just try a little bit right here. Just get the paper wet first, just a tiny bit around your, and pick up a really light. Oh, I don't really like that. It's too cutesy looking. I would go for, just try cobalt blue in there. That's a little better. Kind of a gray, blue, green. And I wouldn't put it everywhere. I'd just put it a little bit on maybe one side. Like that. And then maybe just take that blue, very light, with a little yellow, make it kind of a blue-green, and just spatter a little bit into that. Maybe just some dirty water there. I think that's all I'm going to do to that right now. So I'm going to lift this up and we're going to move on to do another one. Oh, now I can see the chat right here. The funny thing though is that I'm seeing the camera from my palette. Oh, okay, you're just hanging out and watching. Mom's looks good, but mine, so Kathleen says mine looks different but nice in my opinion. Okay. Today we got new members. Who are our new members? Oh, Little Sam's here. Hey, Little Sam, how are you? Now I can see the chat. I don't know why I couldn't see it before. The funny thing though is that my you painted earlier today. You tried making a cat, but I think it's a raccoon now. Aww. I'd love to see it. If you want to send me a message, a direct message in Instagram, that would be fun to see. Sorry, I'm trying to get this off of here. All right. These are really cutesy colors for me. Okay, let's go into some other shenanigans here. So why don't we try this one? You need a new phone. Oh, okay, no worries. Oh, you streamed it earlier? Oh, okay, great. Oh, I'll have to go check that out. You know, I haven't been twitching, but now I've got my Twitch and my YouTube going at the same time. So, which, it wasn't really that hard to set up. I was worried that it was going to be this awful process, but it actually wasn't too bad. So, okay, so why don't we do this kind of quickly? Well, I'm also thinking about, well, let me show you one thing first before we do that. I want to show you a book. This is a book by Jean Haynes that I have. And she does a lot of real loose, kind of Charles Reade style. This is not the same book that was, well, no, nobody recommended this one to me. I just picked it up because I thought it, that was a different book. This one, she paints very loose and very watery, very drippy. And, you know, this book doesn't have a whole lot in it, but this is pretty. It's nice to see, I guess, some of what she does, but you can probably see more online. Like she probably has like I think she has some YouTube videos that shows her trying out like Daniel Smith's metallic colors and that kind of thing. But, you know, this is a super loose portrait that she's done on here. You can't even tell it's a portrait until you get to the page where it is, and then it looks half finished, you know, which is kind of her style, I guess. But I did want to show you one, and here you can see she's using lots of splattering and lines and you know, very loose style, painting these this flower pod kind of thing. But this book only has, you know, 63 pages in it. So it doesn't have a lot of different things. Like she demonstrates some of this stuff. But I don't know if you could really follow that demonstration yourself. Maybe if you read it and went through it. But it's a lot of loose kind of painting. I could see that going wrong in a lot of different ways with a beginner watercolorist that maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's fun to try, but anyway, the one I did like in here of the flower paintings was this little fuchsia study. And what I like about it is the way you lay in your color and then you let it drip and get all diffused, which is what I like. I like it when it's real watery looking, like a real watercolor. So I thought maybe we would go get, well, we could use the blossoms that I have. Let's put this back in here. What did I do with my pansies? And we can try and do just a single stem, just on a small piece of paper. Oh, here they go. Okay, so why don't we take our pansy and try to do something real loose like that. I think it'd be a nice little study. Or we could go this way with it too. So there it is. And let me get a piece of paper. And I think, you know, we'll just try to do something like this. Or maybe this way. Yeah, this looks good. Okay. I wish you all could see the color of this thing. It's it looks really dark on the screen, but it's really a beautiful kind of maroon color. Lots of pink and purple in there. Okay. So we don't really need to draw much of this. In fact, probably the less drawing you do, the better. But I don't know if everybody's confident. I kind of like it going down this way. So let's do it like that. Ooh, Kathleen sent an image. Let's see it. You found that out today. You used a pencil that was just too dark with a yellow background. Yeah, that can happen. Generally on my landscapes, I don't mind a little pencil, but what the heck? Why is my phone acting weird? Oh, wow, nice. Oh, so there's both of yours. Is Irene's on the right side? Okay, so I really like the way these little leaves are sticking out of here. And I like these little delicate petals here on this. And I love the shape of this pansy. And the other leaf coming around this way. I've probably already put in too many pencil lines, but I'll just give an idea of those. And here, I want to remember to leave some yellow area there for this starburst. I didn't take down this paper, but I think I will. So what were you painting earlier, little Sam? Oh, your paints are cheap, yeah. You need to use a little white over. Just doodling around. Kathleen, I'm surprised you guys got the chat to work. That's good. It was. Did Irene have to sign up for a YouTube? She had to put her information in there or something, I think. Okay. All right, so let's try and do this nice and loose if we can. So it's kind of like put it in there and then mess it up. I have an artist friend who says paint and destroy. So get yourself kind of a good amount of water on the brush. And I think I'll add a little bit of cobalt blue right into this to drop it into the wash and let it do its thing. So while you have maybe your light green in there and it's wet, go ahead and drop in a tiny bit of another color to give it some interest. And then don't try to blend it all together. Let it do its own thing. I'm going to pretend this has a few tendrils here. And then as far as the sides, to get the drippiness, just take a brush with some wet water and let it run down the page. And you can just dot in water and let it go, do its own thing. And see how you can just add little bits of pigment and the water moves around and pushes it and it gets really interesting. So I was just picking up pure cobalt blue and dropping it into there. But you can also pick up, more green or yellow and drop it in there as well. And just keep doing that until you're satisfied with the way it looks. And maybe along my stem I'll get that going in there. And up here. And thinking about, look at the whole page and the overall design. I think I'll just add a little bit more to that kind of leaf shape. And yeah, I kind of like that. Sometimes you have to look at your painting and decide what it needs. I wonder if Paulina's around today. So I'm going to add a little more blue to this leaf up here. And I'm just dotting in, not a whole lot of water on my brush. When I pick up the blue, I pick up mostly, I'm not like getting a huge soaking wet brush full of water. So I'm just letting the paint push it around a little bit. And I think what I'll do is I'm just looking at the shape, trying to decide if it needs anything. Maybe a little more, drop in a little more clear water there, or water tinted with a little blue. The other thing you can do is you can make a few little dots on the dry area of the paper. To suggest, a little bit of texture or, just something that's not connected totally. And now I'm going to just splatter in a little bit of that. And then I think I'll start working on my flower. I'm going to do the yellow part first because I want that to be preserved here in the middle. You want pretty, mostly not a lot of water. You want this to kind of stay put where it is. So just put in your yellow there. And light lemon yellow, and then into that you can add just a tad of more of your orangey yellow into that and push it around a little. And you'll get a really bright and I think I'll let that green run into there too. I make it look easy? Oh. Well, you know, I've been doing it a long time, but I don't normally do flowers, so they're kind of, you know, they're very delicate, and so you have to really be stingy with everything you do to make them look, you know, loose and transparent. You can't use a heavy hand, and you know, you want them to look delicate, and you want the washes to be beautiful. Now I'm going to go into this pinky red color, and what I have on my palette here is quinacridone rose. So I'm just going to start putting this, but I don't want to paint it in like a coloring book. I want it to be loose, and see if I can still make it look like a poppy, but maybe have some looseness. We'll have to put another layer on, so I'm just going to do that. Kind of get that in there. And then, while it's wet, you can drop in a little more color. And what I'll do is I'll mix in a little bit of the ultramarine to make a purple. And, well, I really want it more red though, so let's get a little more red going. And I'll start dropping that in and letting that spread around. And we'll just see where it goes. There we go. Maybe a little more of this. I'll drop in some real deep quinacridone rose into that, right on top. Right by, and leave a space, a white space between your yellow, you know, the center of your flower. I'm actually seeing the back side, which has got that yellow. Leave white, dry white area around it. And I think I'll even, let me think about this shape. Yeah, right here, I want to give it that kind of indication here of a hard edge here, where it looks like a pansy. And then maybe on the top side, and maybe I'll let this just go down off the page. And this other edge, I'll just make it loose. Since I taught Carolyn how to make flowers, she loves to draw flowers. Oh, you're so funny, DJ. How are you liking it? I think it looks kind of cool. And I want to cover up this line a little bit, so I'm going to add, well, not too much there. Now, let's see, is there anything else I can do to make this look a little more interesting? You might want to darken up the stem just a little, a tiny bit of, tiniest bit of green on there. And maybe these, a little bit of yellow on there, soften that up a little. Come on, I don't want it to look too, you have to get a little bit messy. Otherwise it's going to look like an illustration, and I am not an illustrator. There we go. And then throw some paint on it. A little splatter there. And I think I might want like one tendril kind of, I don't know, going off in another direction. Like that. So I just used my brush sideways and just pulled it up and kind of, you know, dragged it across the page there. How's everybody doing? Yeah, a little bit of there, maybe not quite as loose as I could have, but you know, you can always add a little bit of spritz or splatter to break up the paint a little bit if you want it more of a loose look. Oh, it's gloomy and wet out. Yeah, it's turning into a really sunny, nice afternoon here in Raleigh. It must be at least 65 out. We've had a really nice spring here, I have to say. I have a few pencil lines here that I don't like. I'm gonna just try to make that edge a little bit more, a little darker to cover that up. And maybe I can charge into that a little bit of this hot pink. There we go. I'm not sure it looks like a pansy, but probably if I fanned it more out this way, it might. There we go. Now it looks more like a pansy. A little bit of splatter on there. I think this painting you could turn the other way around if you wanted, and it would work. Oh, it's in the 40s there? Yeah. That's where most of my family is, back there in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, so I know it's cold. It's cool. Oh. I wish I could get the screen turned around in this one. Oh well, I'll have to work on it later. DJ, when you're around, I'll have to play with my Restream app. Well, I don't think it's an app, it's a software program, but okay, so maybe I'll lose that edge there a little bit more just by putting a little water on there. So let's let this one dry, and let's try another one. It's 108 there today. Oh my word. Cooler day. That's insane. Little Sam says that's too hot. Oh my gosh. We need a happy medium there, don't we? Wow. So, is it like 90 degrees when you wake up in the morning, Irene? You die. I actually don't mind the heat that much out there because it's very dry. It's not humid like it is here. All right, let's move on and paint some of these guys. Maybe I'll take the tape off of this. I can look at it. Thanks, little Sam. You too. You've got two little ones, don't you? 60s or 70s is perfect for you. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I like it that way, actually. The other thing you can do while this is drying, there's some little rivulets kind of forming in there. You can add a tiny bit of white, opaque white paint, and that'll make even more little. See how it moves when I drop it in there? I don't know, because it's like in the damp stage. So sometimes you can do that. Oh, especially up here. Yeah. So if you want to make it look a little more creamy, milky, you can add a little bit of white. Irene, I don't know if your set came with white. It might not have. But you can use white gouache or maybe even thin down acrylic paint if you want, but you don't have to. It just gives you another little texture on there, some other color. I'm just kind of playing right now with it. I'm gonna let that dry. Oh, you sent it to me. Okay, let me see. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, here is Irene's. Irene, you need to take your brush along the edges of that flower in some places and make them softer, like more water on the edges. Too many hard edges. And Kathleen, yours is really soft looking. Those look good. Irene, yours reminds me of a Georgia O'Keeffe flower. You could put a tiny bit of green in there somewhere if you wanted to, but you don't have to. That's interesting. I like how bold it is. All right. Oh, okay. Paulina's out on the town tonight. Nice. I just got a message from her. I'll send her a message. There we go. Okay. And all right, so I'm going to show you Irene and Kathleen's other flowers. There's Irene's Delphinium. It's probably harder to see them because harder to paint them because you don't have the flower in front of you for the shapes and the colors and whatnot. But maybe this next one I'll do a little drawing so you can see. I think that'll help. Even though I didn't really draw at all when I painted this one, but we will do a little drawing. Okay, let's see. I need a paper. Okay, this is a good one. So for this one, we're going to do wisteria. And just tape this up. Put it here. I'm reusing my same tape. And this is on the back of a watercolor that I chopped up because I didn't like, so that's why it has that dark edge, but we're going to cover over that anyway. And using the backs is fine when you have 140-pound watercolor paper because it's still good for practicing. I wouldn't use it if I was trying to make a painting for someone, but it's really nice to use real watercolor paper rather than you want a set? What should you get? I like Daniel Smith watercolors, and if you go on like Dick Blick or Cheap Joe's or well, I don't know if Cheap Joe's carries Daniel Smith paint. But Jerry's Artorama does, or Dick Blick, or you can look on Amazon too for Daniel Smith paints. And I think they have like starter sets that they have a 3-tube starter set with just red, yellow, and blue. They have a like a landscape set. And then they have a starter set, I think, with like 5 colors. And then you can also get they may have some other things out there. Just get like 5 colors to start. A warm and a cool of each color maybe. And I think I have the list in Twitch on my page. You can see the list of all of the things that I use, Little Sam. And these brushes are really nice. They're the silver black velvet. These are affordable and they work really well. So get, you know, a set of 3. And then you want a liner brush to do fine lines. Yeah, and you can also find online, I think they have some small pan sets in a tin. Set of 3 what? The brushes. Silver black velvet brushes. Not this red one, but silver black velvet brushes. I have a 6, an 8, and a 10. And I'm not sure, make sure it says silver black velvet, because there's some other ones out there that aren't as good that look just like this. And if you can only get one brush, I'd just get like the size 10. It's got a nice point. You'll be able to do a lot with that. And then a liner is nice to have. And that's just a skinny long brush, liner brush, for making fine lines. Look on Twitch on my page, Little Sam, and you can see my list of supplies. My paints and my gear, it's all listed there. I'm scrolling. Okay. All right. So on this one, we do the same thing. We do a little blue and for the sky, a little yellow, very thinned out cad yellow light or cad lemon. And then I let it dry or almost dry, and then I start splashing in some greens and some color for the wisteria. And then finally I dry brush in some of the dark burnt sienna lines for the vines. So to get an idea of the shape of those, let me see if I have a little sketchbook. Maybe I'll do it in my sketchbook. I can draw it on here. This is some paper that I got in Italy when I was there last fall. It says it's 100% cotton, 140 pound, but I don't like it at all. It just doesn't, it's not handmade, I think, and it's just, it's not quite the same. But to get an idea of the shape of these things, so you can draw just like a branch like that. And then we're going to have 3 hydrangea shapes coming off of that. So this is, you know, the next one. I don't know if you can see this very well. And then here's the third. So those are kind of the shapes you're looking at, with the middle one being, you know, the most prominent, and then these ones diffuse out. They're not the main character in your in your painting. So, and you know, wisteria, they have little things on the ends. In fact, I'm going to run outside and grab one so you can see it up close, because I have them right now, a vine growing in my yard. And then up here is like leaf shapes, just to give you an idea of you know, like a leaf shape. This doesn't look like a leaf shape, but it looks like a, here, let me try to, maybe that looks more like a leaf shape. So that's kind of the idea of it. And you just want to paint the idea of it, the impression of the flower. You don't really want to, I mean, in this case, you don't really want to paint a an exact rendition. So think about the atmosphere around it, not so much the flower. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go get the bloom, the blossom. Okay, look what I got. Wisteria. Now there's always ants hiding in here, so there'll be a few crawling across the page. But see how it comes down to a nice little point? It's like a cone shape. And then the leaves, they're, you know, little shapes, but they're overlapping on this vine, and so that's why you can make crazy leaf. Hopefully you can see this. And then look. There's going to be bugs crawling all over here. It's like, yeah, there's an ant right there. He's going to come out. This smells so good too. Wow. So that was my impression. Okay. Well, I'll leave this here next to my painting. And let's see if we can go ahead and get, where am I going to put this? Maybe, let me see. Well, it's probably not very helpful anyway to see it that way. The camera doesn't do it justice. All right, well anyway, I think it's probably more helpful for you to see the painting. So we'll put that there. All right, so yeah. I think I'm going to stick this in my vase with my Mother's Day flowers here. And we'll just let it, they're not really very good for cut flowers. But we'll leave it in there. Princeton is a good brush too, Little Sam. Yeah, that's fine for starting out. This one has a little bit, these, any brushes that are synthetic will not come to as sharp of a point. Like, see this? This is an Escoda Perla brush, and it's quite well used. And if I get it wet, it'll come to still a point, but it won't be as pointy as fine a point as this silver black velvet brush. See the difference? And the reason is this Perla, this brush here, this Escoda Perla, is all synthetic hair. It's not, and this one has some natural hair in it and synthetic. If you buy natural hair brushes, they're going to perform a little bit better. And they'll just have a little bit better tip. So just keep that in mind. But yeah. All the brushes look good when they're new. It's how do they last, you know? Mop brushes are good for doing washes and keeping loose larger paintings, areas that where you need to cover a lot of area. You know, a good mop brush is great for that. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to use this little mop here to put in my some of this blue for the sky, and maybe a little bit down here, and that's it. And then I'm going to charge it in with the yellow. My yellow is a little bit contaminated with the green, so try to get the green off of there. Just a really light yellow. And then when you come up to the edge, you can touch it along the edge of the blue and just let that fade. You can even pull some of it up into the blue area if you want. Maybe I'll make this side over here even brighter. Just try to really, whew, that's really bright. Okay. That's right. Somehow I ended up missing this corner up here with my cobalt blue. So I'm gonna mess with that a little bit. Okay. This line here is a little bit hard, so I think I'll just mop that a little bit to make it I want to just soften it. It's a little bit too much of a diagonal there, so I just do that. There we go. Oh, I don't know how to say your name. You're just gonna lurk and watch? That's fine. Is it Nooniyu? No, Noonenu, maybe. Well, please enjoy the lurk, yes. Okay, so now what I've got to do is I might splatter on a little bit of my lavender color. And Irene, with your palette, I don't know if you have lavender. I forget what all is in your set, but you can mix up a little bit of your blue with a little red and make a light lavender color like this. You want to use a cool red, and then I may just put in a little bit. I really don't want it to mix with that yellow much, so I think I'll dry it off first before I get myself into trouble. So let me grab the hair dryer. I'm gonna turn the sound off for a sec. Okay, that feels pretty dry. See, I don't really want my lavenders to mix with the yellow that much because I want them to be crisp and clear. So I want them to sit on top of what's already been painted. I don't want them to mix together. So that's why it's important to dry the paper in between. Okay. Noonie Noo. Am I pronouncing that right? I would really like to know. Tuning in from the UK. All right, so let's mix up our blue and red and get our nice lavender going. And I just wanna, actually first, to make it easier for you guys, I'm gonna give some indication lines of this, where the branches are, so it'll be easier. So I'll just pick up a little bit of burnt sienna. And to that, I'm going to add a little bit of my lemony yellow to kind of get a nice, and I'm going to just give an indication of where these things are falling down so that you can kind of have a reference point so it's not quite so hard. Okay, there we go. Now you can load up your brush and put in some loose indication of your wisteria. And remember, let the ones on the outside edge be just like an imagination of a wisteria. Like not the real thing. Because if you start painting the real thing, it's gonna look like you tried to paint it like an illustrator, and it won't look good. You want it to look good. So this is really just more of a shape with a few raggedy edges at the bottom. And then as we go over to paint the next one, we want to add a little bit more blue into the mix. So add some cobalt blue in there to give you more of this, a little bit more of a bluish purpley. watercolor. And up towards the top, you can make a few squiggles and dabs and things. And then as you come down towards the edge, you know, just a few dots where it tapers off. And try not to go back into the wash, even though I know it's tempting to mix and mix and mix and mix, but don't do that. Just let the water do the work. Maybe a few more dots, just a few dots here and there along the edges will suggest this wisteria shape. And then you can do the third one, which really just kind of should blend into this other one a tiny bit. Don't make them all the same size or you'll end up with you know, something that looks like the Three Stooges instead of your beautiful wisteria. I'm just splattering a little bit here. And you can look at it and adjust it to soften any edges with just a little bit of water. And maybe pull them down a little to give them the shape of the, to mix some of the shapes up. Give them a little bit different edge. Oh, Kathleen started cooking. Nice. And Mama's painting. Oh, I like that. Oh, she made a charcuterie tray. Oh my word, that looks amazing. Okay, Irene, as this thing starts to dry and it loses its shine, I just have to tell you this before. I'm going to show everybody this cheese tray that Kathleen has made, but you can take your fingernail and scratch into, like, just to give a little indication of, you know, maybe that vine coming across right there. It's probably hard to see, but scratching in is a nice way to add, you know, it's just gonna disperse that paint a little bit and give you a nice white line. You have to wait until it's in the damp stage. If it's too wet, the water will just go back in, but okay, so I hate to even show this. It looks so good. We're all going to be hungry. Look at this cheese tray she made. You guys are living it up. Look at this. You've got, are those pickles? Oh, that's okra. Pickled okra, pate, different kinds of cheese, mushrooms. Wow. Peppers. Look at the blue cheese and the salami on there. Good Lord. I want to come to Palm Desert. That looks great. I'm sorry I'm not there. That looks amazing. I'm glad you guys are enjoying your Mother's Day. Joe and Christopher are going to be cooking for me. Mainly Joe, I think, but Chris indicated that he wants to start learning how to use the barbecue, so we'll see. I think it's about time for my spritzer. Doesn't it look good, DJ? Yeah. All right, so Joey D, Any chance I could get a spritzer? Okay. I put in my order. I'm not sure if I'm going to get one or not, but all right. So now I'm mixing up a little burnt sienna, and I'm putting in a little bit of I put a little blue in there to darken it up a little more. You don't really have to do that. It should be just fine the way it is, but I just want a few little lines here to suggest. Maybe that's too dark. I have to probably go back in here with a little bit more color. Okay. And I didn't put my leaves in yet, so I'll do that. These things are kind of fun to just zen out and play with. Hopefully, Irene, this isn't stressing you out on your day. And let's see, maybe, yeah, I think that's probably about enough. Okay. As this dries, I may go back in and put in again a little bit more deeper lavender color on there. A little cobalt mixed with our quinacridone rose, probably. I was just going to show you the quinacridone rose. And you put a little bit of cobalt in there, so you can get this darker violet color. And I want to use that here and there on this vine. Just a little bit. And then I'm just touching it with a damp brush, a clean brush, to soften those edges out, because I don't want it looking all hard-edged. I just want a little bit more color on that center one, where it sort of takes stage there. A little more magenta, a little more blue. Maybe deepen that up here and there a little bit more. All right, and now for the leaves. I just really want one area of dark there, not too much. Hey, Paulina. Spritzer time. Oh my gosh. Yes, it's you right on time. We're doing this one now again, which you saw me do before, but how was your evening? Did you have a nice night? I'm gonna mix up some green here. Try to get some nice dark green. I'll put a little brown in there. So I snuck in there a little bit of that phthalo blue-green to get it really nice and dark, and then I added a little burnt sienna in there. And what I want to do is just get a leaf shape up in this area. I may pre-wet it just a little bit around there and try to go along that edge, and then just plop it in there. I don't want it soft edged everywhere, but I can kind of just dance the tip of my brush along here and change the color from dark to lighter. And as you're doing that, you can change it up and add a little yellow ochre. You can add well, I would stay in the yellow range. So you could add the same yellows that you're using early in your painting. I wouldn't mix it up too much, but here to warm this up, you can add a little bit of that cad yellow color or Hansa yellow deep or whatever you've got. Just to vary it, because you always want to try and vary as, you don't want a dead wash with just one color. Try to make it a little bit exciting somehow. Something for the eye to look at. And along the edges of the leaf, like I said, you can just dance your brush to get a little bit of texture there. Maybe I'll just finish that off with a little bit more lemon yellow. And then just one little dry brush mark like that. Maybe down there. Maybe it comes over that. All right, so Kathleen, is that what you and your mom are going to have for dinner? Just the charcuterie? Or are you cooking more stuff? So I just splattered a little bit on there. I don't want to overdo it. Just a little bit there. Maybe a few there. So the last time I painted this, I used a color right here in the corner of my palette. It's actually called Cobalt Violet Light. And it's kind of nice on this rough paper because it granulates just a little bit. It's very pretty, but I don't have, I'll put it on top of here. I know that not everybody has it. Excuse me. But that can add a little more dimension to your wisteria flowers here. And that's the color that you see right here. Oops. That's my, Oh, that's what I was painting when I was muted last time? Oh my gosh. You did try to do it, Paulina? How did it come out? You can see the difference in the two here that I've done. This one actually looks a little nicer. It's got softer edges. Over here, these edges should be softened up a little more maybe. But like I say, I don't paint flowers that often. So I'll do them in landscape paintings as as part of the painting, but just to do flowers in general, I don't do. This is the one we did earlier, Paulina. It's supposed to be a pansy from this. It needs another layer of dark in here to really make it have some emphasis. I'd love to put some of that Quin Violet in there. That would really make that go crazy. Where is my Quin Violet? It's not a color that you have in your set, Irene. Some of these quinacridone colors are really fun to use. I'm just going to grab it straight out of the tube and put it on here. See how rich and dark that looks? All right. I don't think I'll do any more than that right now. Maybe just soften that out a little. I always say that and then I end up doing more. Yeah, this, I shouldn't have done that, but there we go. Now I'll stop. I've got quinacridone violet all over my hands. See, I like it much better when it's darker. It has a little more pop to it. I need to wash my hand off quick. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Now maybe I'll just sign it on the bottom. And then I'd like to do one little landscape if I have time. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock. Ooh, Kathleen says she made a lemon blueberry cake. Oh my word. And she made, oh wow, that looks really good. Mashed cauliflower with salad, blue cheese on the salad, of course. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, they're really cooking. That's great, you guys. I should be there. That would be fun. So Paulina, I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time today. It's the first time I've done that. I did a test yesterday and DJ noticed I was on. So he was my very first viewer of that situation. So that was kind of fun. And it wasn't as hard as I thought. So anybody on Twitch that's around, come and say hello. Oh, I don't like that one. Let's just tissue that off of there. I was going to sign it, and here I am starting to dab little things here and there. Let's get that out of there. All right. So let's go for this purple color I like. I think I'll sign it with that. It's not quite deep enough, so maybe I'll just add a little more blue, a little more pink. There we go. Just a little bit of splatter down there. I feel like I need one random dot that's, there we go, maybe a couple. Maybe one more right here. There. Now I'll take the tape off. This side has staining from the painting on the other side. Mom made a lemon blueberry cake. Wow, that looks really good. Okay, little Sam, thanks for joining us. Yeah. Oh, you started the second part of the stream here in 7 minutes. Okay, so I wonder if I can, I'm not sure I know how to raid you, but I would if I could. You're gonna stream now, little Sam? Yeah, you're starting the second part of your stream in 7 minutes. All right, I'm gonna try to get on there. I'll see if I can raid you, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, and I'll be finishing up my stream soon, so if anyone wants to run over to see little Sam, please do. Oh, Irene, yay! Yeah, well, that's good. I like doing this on Sunday, so I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. And let's see if I can. Oh, I had the other one that we were working on. This one and this one, which actually looks nicer because it's even more sort of, I don't know, it's just freer. It's got a few more splatters there, which I could add to this one. Are you going to keep painting, Irene, or are you tired now? Are you done? Done. I need a few more splatters on here. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, so you used your, you like the paintings, DJ? Thank you. Thank you, DJ. I'm going to show you Irene's painting that she painted right here because I got it on. My cousin is sending it. There it is. It looks like it's still wet. And you use sketchbook paper, so it's never going to turn out quite as nice as if you're using 140-pound cotton watercolor paper. But that looks great. I would let that dry, and then you can always add like a few tendrils, a few little things, maybe coming off of that that vine. It looks pretty straight across that diagonal, so you could break it up by adding a little bit of like you know, a little like yellowish green. Add a little more yellow green in there and just get a couple little sprigs going off of that vine so it's not quite as harsh. Okay. Okay, now I wanted to add a little more. Oops. A little more splatter to my. I love this hot pink color that I have. It's called Opera, and if you splatter it hard enough, fast enough, you can get it to, oh, it's not doing what I want. I almost want like a little more. There we go, like that. Just mess it up a little. And I think I'm going to add a little orange to that. Make it kind of a No, I want like a yellowy orangey color in there. There we go. So, and you can splatter it with water and plain water into that and let it do what it wants to do. The soft edges are nice. Yeah, they are in Irene's painting. DJ said, and then the 140 pound you sent everything except the brushes. Oh, I thought I ordered brushes for you, Irene. I'll have to take a look at that. This is the pink. I don't know, I'm just adding it willy-nilly here, trying to make this look a little more. There we go. That's better, I think. Well, maybe I better stop before I get too many things going on and then I've overworked it and killed it. Yeah, this is not my favorite painting. The other one is so much nicer. It's so much more spontaneous, and this one. Okay. Tissue off some of that. So you were painting on the 140 pound paper. It still might not be all 100% cotton. What is the brand of it, Irene, that I sent? I don't remember exactly what I sent, but whatever I ordered there. Just gonna play with this a little bit more. Trying to make the edges here, they're all too similar, so if I make one different, it'll help the composition here. Maybe up here a little bit more. There we go. Sometimes you have to think a little bit about what, how can I, what does it need? Is it unbalanced? Is the color, not dark enough? Oh, Canson. Okay. So it's more of a student grade paper probably. And it probably is not 100% cotton, but it's good for practice. Okay. Okay, let's see. I don't like this light blue back here, and I'd really like to change it up, but I'm afraid if I do, I have kind of a orange thing going on. So I could put purple back here, I could put more of a green, or more of a lavender purple. Maybe I'll just put a tiny little touch of lavender over this blue, because just like that, as if there's some other kind of flowers. Let me get my shade down. There we go. As if there's some other flowers in a bouquet maybe back there that are popping through. So I'm going to soften that edge a little. Yeah, I like that better, and maybe I'll just add a little bit of that. Here and there, maybe a little bit down here. Yeah, I kind of like that. I like it better than I like that light blue. All right, well, let's just put a signature on here just because we can. Maybe I'll use that same purple. Nice dark color over here to offset. Too much splatter makes it look cheap. You have to kind of be careful. I'm adding some of this purple now to give it some pop to these little stems. It needs a little more value here and there, otherwise it's just boring. So I'm just adding kind of dot, dot, dot. We've been isolating, but I think, our neighbors have been isolating too, and we're going to do, I think Joe invited them for dinner, so we'll be doing social distancing outside on the patio. There we go. I don't know about these flowers. I may need a little more practice. Okay, let's see. Now, I want to do a reveal on this one. This one I did earlier today. Here, I'll get this off of here first. I want to show you another one I did earlier. Actually, I have a couple that I did earlier that I wanted to talk about. Now, in your sketchbook. So this one I did in a sketchbook on sketchbook paper. and this is my B paper company. Try to hold it so you can see it. These are kind of nice little sketchbooks. This is 93-pound paper, and it's for mixed media. And it's there. So this one I did outside earlier today, and you know, I wasn't really happy with the result until I took these Caran d'Ache crayons, and they're water-soluble wax pastels. So this is where sometimes you can go have some fun, and you can see where I added the waxy pastel lines, the white lines, to these flowers, and it really helped them because they were kind of boring before. The washes all went together. So if you see these when you're out and about, these are nice, really fun to add to your watercolor. You can even just take one and put it in your travel kit. Just take a white one and you'll be able to add white highlights on top of your watercolor, which I think is really fun to do. Can turn a boring painting that you don't really like into something nice that you might want to save and frame. And speaking of saving and framing, look at how cute, how sweet that is. Joe hasn't brought me my spritzer yet. I might have to go make one on my own. So there's the Caran d'Ache water-soluble Neo colors. And honestly, I don't use them a lot, but if I have a failed painting that, you know, maybe I want to cut it down and turn it into a greeting card or something, then I can spiff it up with these. And let me show you. It says they're water-soluble, so if I make a few marks with them, here we go. This is the, I don't know, red color. And let's add some water to it and see what happens. Oh, look how beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, you could just take these, like 3 different colors of these, red, blue, and yellow, and you can just draw like this right on top of your painting, and if you want, then you can let it wash away. How fun is that? You can blend it to make a third color. I like this green, but I'll show you the yellow just so you can see it. Blend it together to make green. And then this is the lime color. Beautiful. So remember last week we talked about doing pen and ink. And so you could lay that down in your sketch, and then you could go back over it with your ink pen somewhere. Where's my ink pen? Oh, here. Okay. So last week I brought this out for a brief second, And this is called the Ink and Sketch Pen, I believe. But this one, while it's wet, it can, you know, make these fun little marks on here. This is just a fountain pen. These are like $12.95, I think, on Amazon, and you can refill. So that's kind of a fun thing to have in your sketch arsenal. Okay. So yeah, I like these. These are kind of fun, these little water-soluble crayons. And I have one more painting. Okay, so this is what I did. I think I did this last night, and it's completely dry now, but I want to, this is another one where if you wanted, you could add some highlights to it. Maybe just a little bit in here around this orange part of this flower, because there's a little white lip on that. Okay, so yeah, I kind of like that. And just a little bit there. And then if I go over it with a paintbrush with water on it, it'll dissolve a little bit. I had some other white watercolor paint on there. There we go. Kind of a rough edge. That looks pretty. I don't know if I think I like those edges the way they are, so I may just keep them. But you could dissolve them a little so that they spread out a little bit into the paint. All right, well anyway, I'm gonna unwrap this one. Oops. There we go. And I can even put a little frame on there. And I think, I don't know, it might need a couple little things, but I'll have a good look at it tomorrow and then decide. This one I think would be really pretty signed in pencil, because I can see some of the pencil markings in the painting here. So like that. And this is just another try at the delphiniums. So same thing we did today. Although this has a little bit more pink around the background. Kathleen and Irene are probably ready to have their dinner. And I suppose I probably should think about ending the stream. DJ, what are your plans? Space Astronomy Kid, hey! This year I did get a palette knife. Oh, good. And I'm thinking about trying it out for the first time. Okay, good. Space Astronomy. I have a palette knife here somewhere. I use it once in a while for scraping lines into my watercolor paint. Here we go. See? You can go like this. Irene, I know you have a palette knife, and you should get that out and put it with your watercolor supply kit. Yes. Okay, DJ. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you get your paints soon so you can paint along with us. And I probably will do a tutorial Tuesday this week, so we'll see you then. Oh, I like your little flower emoji thing on there. That's cute. Hey, Paulina, yes, have a good evening.